Can you all hear me okay? Okay, great. So I had the privilege of meeting Oz and Richie when we produced the film The Lost Boys Searching for Manhood, which I hope you all will watch. It's free on YouTube, so I'm not selling anything. And before that, we released the film called The Detransition Diaries, Saving Our Sisters. One film, The Detransition Diaries, looked at just young women, and The Lost Boys, of course, looked at young men who thought they were all born in the wrong body, and this was the solution. It is the battle of ideas, so I might say that I don't support medical or surgical transition of adults either, because I don't think it's proper medicine. It's strange to think that that might be a controversial statement. I was a pediatric nurse for about 20 years, so back in the olden days, we would never have thought that this is anything that we should be doing to children or young adults. Just some themes. When we were producing the Detransition Diaries and The Lost Boys, there's a lot of similarities. Dr. Hakeem talked about the trauma, the autism, internalized homophobia. Those were clearly seen as themes in young women as well as young boys. The role of social media and is prevalent with boys, men, and women as well. Social contagion in the United States, actually, young boys are now being affected by the social contagion theory, which used to be more prevalent in young girls because girls tend to be more relational. They want to do whatever their girlfriends are doing. They want to wear their hair the way their girlfriends are wearing their hair or whatever. So everybody's got to do the same thing. But we're seeing that now increasing in young boys in the United States. What really hit me when I was producing The Lost Boys was the role of puberty. Now, girls go through puberty, boys go through puberty as well. But as a woman, I never went through male puberty. But the themes was, sort of the forcefulness. One day you're a quirky little awkward little boy, and the next day you have these raging hormones that you're like, what the hell happened to me here? And the role of shame. Not that girls don't have shame, but the role of shame in young boys for thoughts and feelings. And then also messages. Young boys live in the world where it's toxic masculinity, rape culture, boys are bad, they're perverts, they're creeps, you don't want to trust them. I love in The Lost Boys when Graham Linehan says things like, boys are afraid to laugh at the things the boys naturally find funny. They don't want to, they are afraid of saying things because they might be seen as a creep when they just want to say what they're thinking about. So I think that was, something that we have to keep in mind when we're working with or are dealing with young boys or young girls. And for me, the proxy solution that should be offered is good mental health. Let's deal with the trauma. Let's deal with the autism. Let's deal with the issues of sexual abuse, the role that pornography plays. Let's get our kids off social media. Our young adults spend hours and hours and hours on social media, which is just a rat hole, a cesspool. And I live in the state of California. California is a sanctuary state for transgender youth, which means if you live in, say, Texas or a more conservative state that doesn't allow the sexual transitioning of women and young boys, girls and boys, you can come to my state and taxpayers will fund for a young minor's gender affirmation only care. And in California, parents can lose their own children if they don't affirm their children. So the Cass report is not being talked about in America, and I'm kind of jealous of you guys here in the United Kingdom who are way ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you.